afternoon, Basement Legends. Wow, we're probably a little bit louder today, but you know what? We fixed our microphones. We did things. We heard the people, and there's a lot of stuff screwed up. So, yeah, we had to get in there, make some changes.
Yes.
But I'm feeling good about it. Isaac,
Yes, sir.
you made a lot of people happy.
I did. It was great.
You made
great
me
to see.
happy this. Okay, drift call. Come on, absolutely. How your bags feel? Able to carry them around town?
I can carry my bags around town. They're packed. They're ready to go. Altcoin season is gonna rip. My bags are heavy, but it's okay. It's why we work out, Drew.
That's right. Now I have an agent of chaos with me on the show.
Hi, everybody. I'm here.
Jeremy, you know what? It's good to have you on the show. It really is.
Here, I think it's a good show. Got good people on.
Yeah, I mean, this is where legends are being made, you guys, and really, we have really a good time here. They're going off about the audio again. We've spent like so much time doing it. Like,
I'm listening right
Drew,
now.
your mic, veteran, I hear you. And shout out to Veteran Crypto. It is Veterans Day. Shout out to all the veterans out there. Shout out to you. How's it coming over on your side there, Isaac? Is it chaos? It seems like it's cutting through.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I'm listening to it live.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Screw off.
Drew, sorry, brother. Should we just quit the show? Should we just shut the show off? Since everyone has like slight problems with sound.
Delete everything.
Just
Everything's
delete the
gone.
channel because it's slightly off. So choppy. God, now I don't even know how to start this because I actually have some really good data and some targets about crypto and where that should go. Jeremy, you pull up your phone. Let me see how it sounds.
Okay. Playing a Pokemon.
That's not going to work.
Oh.
What were you playing Pokemon on the show?
Yeah, well, hold on a minute. The show started, it was late, and so I was like, oh, we're not doing the show? So I pulled up the Pokemon, started a match. That's like well within, I think.
I'm sure Veteran Crypto wants me to just shut it down so everyone just hangs out with him. What he wants. That is what he wants. Probably. But
yeah, what do you need on my phone?
first of all, about this phone game.
Yeah.
It's Pokemon.
It's Pokemon. It's like a simplified version that they just did because people like it. It's called Pokemon Pocket.
Pokemon Pocket. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you know about Hamster Combat? Have you ever heard of the game Hamster Combat?
No.
Okay, so apparently my daughter and my wife know what Hamster Combat is, and they're not connected to crypto by any means. I know what Hamster Combat is from Price Action. Chaotic crypto token that has been absolutely mooning. But Hamster Combat is another token that I'm actually going to have to look at today. But this is the vibe. Nothing's going to ruin my vibe. I'm feeling great. We got this from Nick Diamond Hands Damani. Let's see how this comes out. It should be good.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know?
You don't got to do anything. I should be able to talk over this now. We fixed it.
Oh, it's that good now.
We fixed this shit. And that's why I'm feeling good. We fixed this. Now we do have a fight coming up here. I want your guys' opinions. Who's going to win the fight? I think it's is the fight this weekend with Tyson and Jake Paul?
I believe
Friday
it
at 8.
is.
Friday at 8 p.m.
Friday at 8.
Okay. Now, who do you think is going to win this? Who is going to win this fight? Because there's a lot of contention. There's a lot of thoughts that Tyson's extreme scariness and his ego is going to be able to scare Jake Paul. Jake Paul is a big dude.
Yeah, by now he's
a large human being. Pretty good at boxing too.
People say that Iron Mike is back.
Yeah.
There's sort of the legend that Mike Tyson has this alter ego, the scary guy, Iron Mike, that comes out
And he does. He for sure does. That counts for a lot in a fight.
and bites ears.
He bites. He bit the guy's ears off.
Finally,
Yeah. I mean, I was there for Holyfield.
you were.
No, I was watching it when I was I can't even remember how old I was. I was a very young kid. And I watched Mike Tyson bite Evander Holyfield's ear half off. Half the ear was gone.
I mean, there you
Spitting
go.
blood out. Just absolutely crazy. Now, this is a tough... You need to ask the chat who they think is going to win this fight. Because there's people betting on the Tyson fight. You can bet on Polymarket and kind of hedge your bets on where it tight. But Jake Paul is a young, feisty son of a bitch here. I may as well, while you're doing that, do the chat. I'm going to see if I can find a recent picture. Jake Paul. Because this kid is... mean, he's not really a kid anymore. He's getting gigantic. Let's see. Images. This big dude. I mean, he is definitely grown up, and this is kind of the younger years. He's getting way thicker. I mean, standing next to Tyson here does not look like too bad of a matchup here. These are two thick-ass boys right there. So
I don't know if it's going to come down to size so much. I mean, that youth is just such a factor, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to just be so hard.
Well, and Tyson, they were talking about on the morning show, like he had some kind of stroke or aneurysm or something like that on an airplane ride.
Yeah.
Tyson's got the ego. He's got the legendary history. Jake Paul has a lot to come up off of. If he can at least just make Mike Tyson bleed, let alone, I mean,
I guess what your viewers are probably wondering is, do you think it's a real fight, or do you think this is like, it's an exhibition? Are they even going to fight, or is this all like some sort of scripted, almost like reality TV?
A lot of people think it's rigged. They just say it's rigged.
It's on Netflix. It's Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. It's just like hard for me to believe that it's really two guys going at it on that stage.
Okay, so you're saying that it's just a contrived finished result for it? I don't know,
how
man.
I feel.
The punches that Jake Paul has been landing in these fights have not looked fake. They have not looked fake. And I don't understand, like, a lot. Like, I love the good old conspiracy. I'm a huge conspiracy theorist, I guess you would say. But the punches that Jake Paul has been landing in his last few fights, they looked real as hell. If
it's a real fight, I hope Mike Tyson wins. Keep the legend alive. I used to deliver for Amazon, and like at the yard or whatever, we would be like, would you get paid $2 million to take a punch from Mike Tyson? And everybody was like, no, because I'm dead.
I totally would. I absolutely would get punched.
I would snap off the $2 million for the punch in the face. What about you, Isaac?
What do you think, Isaac?
If I got $2 million for getting punched in the face by Mike Tyson,
got it.
Yeah, easy money.
Easy
Give
money.
me the money.
Easy money. Look at him.
That's crazy.
Shout out to Coins Chick. You know what? We're going to be looking at some basement type degen crypto tokens. I saw a Coins Chick token hitting all-time highs this morning. Shout out to you, Coins Chick. Also, Bobcat. I did look. Bobcat is one of the few meme coins I pull up every single month. So shout out to you, Bobcat.
Not dead.
Not dead.
No rugs.
And you haven't sold yet, right?
I haven't sold.
And I'm waiting to get in. I feel like I'm going to be ended up getting into that token. Just with my own money. I'm going to go in there, maybe a few $100 just to see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? But it's feeling good. Times are feeling good. And as I said, thank you to all that have served. Happy Veterans Day, y'all. This is a message from SpaceX. All of the crazy stuff they're doing, I'm sure they're going to be looked at as a piece of a Space Force here. And there's Tyson. Yeah, it's going to be great. Now, from Crypto Rover, just a shout out to everyone in the blockchain basement and out there really in crypto. If you're just finding this channel, great. But you survived the longest Bitcoin bear market in history. Do not give up now. And I am of a strong opinion that this blow off top kind of two peaks moment for the previous cycle was actually kind of a situation of blue balls. I really felt like there was a lot more left. But when I really look at it from a Fibonacci standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. Now, let's go over to that. I have kind of my larger thought process on Bitcoin. Now, this is the 2017 high of Bitcoin coming in at around $19,000. COVID, we dropped down to what creates basically the bottom or just near the bottom of this bottom end trend for the Fibonacci retracement. Now I'm talking about Fibonacci's because we are in price discovery for Bitcoin. And I want to find out where we could be looking out for at a top for Bitcoin, right? So that's why I'm bringing this up. I'll get this thing out of the way here. Yeah. So this is the fib. Starts at the one at the previous high of 2017 down to the low, which comes in at around $2,900. So fast forward, man, we climbed. We got above the 1.68. What do we got here? We got the 2.618 right there. We keep going up. We got the 3.618, and that keeps going. It didn't quite make it to the top of the 4.236 right here. But the reason why I'm showing you the 2017 cycle first, 2017 to 2020, is because I want to put this in context of where our capabilities are, as things stand right now, of where Bitcoin can end up in this hyper bullish situation that we have found ourselves in. Scoot it right on over here, and this is where the legends are going to be made, folks. So we got the top end of the previous cycle in this account coming at $69,100. The bottom end hits right at about $15,217. So if we're looking at this comparatively, our time frame is very, very interesting. In this price discovery moment that we're in currently, historically, this is compared to the blue shaded line here going up to the 1.618. And this is exactly where Bitcoin's price is right now, trying to come into that half point of the 1.618. But if Bitcoin is able to replicate what it did last cycle in terms of Fibonacci extension and retracements, which it has absolutely followed so far, this number is going to top out at the very top right here. So we got the 4.236 top end of the fib coming in at $244,000. That is the top end of this Fibonacci. And I wanted to bring this up because there is a lot of disbelief going on in crypto right now, and it kind of goes in line with what I just highlighted, the longest Bitcoin bear market in history. People have been beaten down. Their mindsets have been beaten down, and it's kind of hard for them to believe that Bitcoin could accomplish this size of market cap. And I can understand where that mindset comes. That sounds like a massive, massive number to accomplish. But guess what? The Pi cycle top indicator is looking like it is primed for doing such a thing. We have this, the Pi cycle top indicator. I'll make this a little bit smaller so you guys can see this. Let's make this out right there. So we use the Pi cycle top indicator to figure out when these two lines cross. That marks the top of our cycle. Right here in this moment, there is some good line to make between these two measurements here. I'll just go and restart this so we can go back to the, what is this? I'm just going to redo it. Pi cycle top indicator. Bam. I like to use this indicator a lot. Nick likes using this quite a bit. What did I just do? I just double clicked on something. All right. So here we are. You have the 2017 top. It crossed perfectly. The 2021 top, it crossed perfectly. Yes, it gave us the secondary fake little bounce here. But at large, we have plenty of room to go on the Pi cycle top indicator. And when I'm looking at Bitcoin's history and it's how it's behaved, yeah, last cycle, sitting there thinking about getting anywhere near $100,000 was unbelievable for people. They could not imagine a situation where Bitcoin even got close. Now, what it did, it hit 70 or just under $70,000, and people were let down. They did not make it to that 100K level, but there was a lot of arbitrage through the likes of FTX, Alameda Research, and the powers that be that stifled this from absolutely mooning. So if we do see a Bitcoin price of $244,000, what kind of market cap we would need to be looking at here? Let's take a gander. So in order for it to hit that level, we need a $4.9 trillion market cap. But guess what? That is not even outdoing the current market cap of gold. And what we have right now is a nation state level FOMO for Bitcoin on multiple different levels. And there's a lot of things that I'm seeing in the news that's kind of confirming that. We have these really, let's listen to what mainstream media is saying about Bitcoin first, and then we'll dive into the rest of these metrics here. I'm just feeling so damn good.
Bitcoin is hitting new highs above 80, actually above 82,000. And Mackenzie Sagalis joins us now with a look inside the action. Was there ever a time, Mackenzie, where you said, why am I going to be a crypto expert? That's a big risk. Now look at you. Now look at you. We can't get enough of you. 82,000.
Yeah, I know in 2017, I was talking to Bitcoin miners in Venezuela who were doing it to make ends meet. But now Bitcoin topping $82,000 this morning. As futures premiums jump higher, traders are now betting over $2.9 billion on Bitcoin, soon rising past that 85K threshold on the popular derivatives exchange Deribit. The wider crypto market also seeing outsized gains this morning. Ether has eclipsed Bitcoin's rise of 30% in the last 7 days, and Solana's market cap topped a $100 billion level on Sunday. On the back of U.S. elections, it saw a swell of pro-crypto candidates win office. Now, the total market cap of all those spot Bitcoin ETFs is now above $80 billion, with inflows surging in the last 3 trading days.
So this is how they start the morning news. But guess what? Bitcoin kept going. We actually topped off recently at $85,000 just about. And I did have a little nice short-term successful short. Shorted a little bit right here from, I think it was 84,900. And I ended up getting out of it at 84,000 flat. Made a nice little 12% grab on the portfolio. And if you are out there trading this chaos, make sure you trade in and supporting the channel on 2Bit, our channel partner right there. Use code BASEMENT, capital BASEMENT, and you can go out there and ride these scalp trades with me. But Wall Street is all excited about talking about an $82,000 Bitcoin at the beginning of this morning. It jackknifed up to $85,000. This is how fast this market is moving right now. And MicroStrategy, regardless of this upward price action, just announced $2 billion more in Bitcoin buys. There is no stop in this train. And when we see this, the nation state FOMO is getting crazy. Royal Government of Bhutan now owns $1 billion in Bitcoin. And we're going to see these numbers continue to go up, not just for Bhutan, not just for El Salvador, but so many nations across this world are going to be FOMOing into this when they see Bitcoin being the strategic reserve currency for the United States. And the reason why I actually have a strong inclination this is what we're going to see is because the Republicans swept the House, Senate, and the presidency. There's nothing standing in the way of Cynthia Lummis from making this a reality. What should we expect with Ando unlocks in January? Price dumps on the unlock date? Question mark. Best strategy to take advantage of this from Nautical Nate. Shout out for the super chat. I did hold all my Ando into the worries, and Ando is actually one of the big winners recently. So I'm feeling good about my Ando bags. I'll get into the Ando question right after I get through this Bitcoin section here, brother. This is the halving progress that we are currently sitting at from Rational Root. This is some on-chain data, and it highlights the moment after the halving and what happens from there. So our highlighted moment we're about to get out of, and this takes us to the essential moment where, we topped out a couple squares into this. One thing I am hard pressed on really nailing down, and I know I have my own exit strategy that I've been talking about being May, but with a nation state FOMO, am I going to be really leaving in May or see this kind of ride all the way through 2025? That's a big question in my mind. I'm seeing extreme FOMO and application across the planet for crypto. And I'm positioned with these bags that are very old. Some of my bags are accumulated right here in the COVID dip. Very old stuff. So seeing all this FOMO, am I really willing to let it go within the first few tabs of that? It's a tough call. Jeremy, I haven't heard from Kamala Harris in a bit.
Yeah?
Where's she up to?
What do you mean? When you lose a presidential campaign, what do you get up to? You go home. You're done.
She just went home?
I mean, she didn't have a job for the most part anyway. She's Vice President of the United States. They don't set policy. Mostly on reserve.
I heard that she ended up $20 million in debt.
Yeah.
From one of the most funded election campaigns in history.
For these Washington people, debt is just like something that you make somebody else. I'm not that worried about it.
Well, Donald Trump is offering to pay the debt.
Oh, yeah?
You know what I mean? And that's
just to be nice?
I mean, maybe to be nice, but also to be a savage, I think. And she's got a couple options here.
Okay.
Option A, we could send her $750 direct.
Right.
Just like she did for South Carolina flood victims.
Oh.
Or
Wasn't that like FEMA?
Federal government, yeah.
But she was running the federal government?
Well, she's the vice president of the federal government. See? Or we could go fundraise $500 billion for Ukraine and send it to them instead. What do you think?
We don't
Two
send that
options.
much cash to Ukraine, right? We mostly just send like weapons, like war materials.
Those are free. You're right. Those are free. We don't. Those just kind of show up out of nowhere. I don't know how it happens.
Cash, is all I'm saying. It's like funding Raytheon.
Where do you think production starts? It is money that kickstarts production.
Sure.
Our money, my money,
Right.
my taxpayer dollars.
Right, but the government procures that money not from, or procures those weapons not from money, but like from contracts that they give to like Raytheon or whatever. So like, American weapons manufacturers get paid for the aid that we send to Ukraine.
Yeah. You know, she popped into my mind real quick. I wonder what Kamala's thinking.
She's probably on a beach drinking Mai Tais,
I saw she was hanging with Willie Brown.
rekindling old flames.
Maybe she's got new employment. Old, but new employment. You know what I'm saying?
Rekindling old flames.
Yeah. I mean, those are flames. You can call them flames. I'm going to get if I say what I say. So now we talk about the investment thesis behind how we approach this market. Because as I showed you guys, the top of Bitcoin's price action right now, we have nation state FOMO. And a lot of people are like, this is stupid. We're never going to hit the top end of this fib. Guess what? We just did it in a fucking economical collapse and COVID and everyone running scared for the hills. Now, as we see nation states race each other to the top on Bitcoin holdings, I am not discounting us getting near or at the top of this fib level right now. But a good approach that I came across last night, this is from Alex Hormozy, and just a good reminder, the best investment strategies are boring, the best business systems are boring, and repeating what works is boring. You know what isn't boring? Poverty. Poverty is always exciting. Embrace boring. It's where the money is. And it being boring in my crypto movements is taking profits, even though there's a little bit more to gain on top. Had I just diamond handed it and made the perfect exit at the absolute peak of the chart, it's something that will haunt everyone as we move in to the next year and we see these prices go to the absolute moon. But I must reiterate that having our own needs and investment goals in mind before we get into 2025 is going to be absolutely imperative. It's going to be very, very important to know what number, what valuation is going to tangibly change your life, to know when to pull the trigger. I have my own personal goal set, and you know what? I'm thinking that I do have the velocity to hit up to near $500,000 with what I've said, and this is with taking tons of profits and rebuilding bags along this massive bear market that we have just experienced. And now I've come into a lot of new DCA money through my wonderful wife and her awesome job. They're loving her over there. She's getting promotions. And I'm able to buy even more crypto. But what I did on the explosion for Drift, Isaac, are you still holding your Drift position?
I did sell initials for Solana.
And what'd you sell at?
I don't remember what the exact price was. I think it was $1.80.
$1.80?
$1.80, yeah.
You
I
son
sold
of
like
a bitch.
$100. I still have like $200 in there.
Well,
so I'm
I
feeling great.
sold it right around $1.80, $1.90. Let's see how much we missed out on. I mean, I think that I did see it kind of consolidating or resetting its price action. Let's see where we're at right now. Let's see here. So at $1.57. So not a bad move so far, but I remember watching the chart right after I sold and being like, you stupid son of a bitch, Drew. Look at this. And this doesn't even do it justice. This thing did hit $2.60. On CoinMarketCap, it shows $2.22. But I sold the initials and built my bag of Moonwell with those initial inputs, plus the bag of Drift. And shout out to Elevator Man. Dude, you guys are awesome. We got Coins Chick dropping memberships, Elevator Man dropping memberships. It sounds like something you guys did on the sound thing fixed too. I don't know what you
I don't know. I don't know what TJ just did.
He just touched some buttons.
He snuck in, kicked me out my chair. He was just like, let me message him out of here real quick. I'm like, okay, dokie.
I heard that my mic's still choppy. So
yeah, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. That's probably actually for the better.
they want to shut me up anyway because I represent views that they don't agree.
Oh, don't be that
Want
way.
to censor me?
Hey, what was that super chat about Kamala Harris receiving the $750 too? Shout out to that dude.
I'm pull it up right
Elevator
now.
Man, you're Kryptonian. Send her FEMA standard $750. Just so savage.
Jesus.
That's the way it be, though. That is the way it be. Now, let's keep moving through all this stuff. We got a lot of ground to cover here. Crypto projects are pumping.
Want to go over the Ando thing real quick?
Go over the Ando thing.
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
do it. And go up to the Ando question, because I'm holding a bag of Ando. Just so you know, my average entry on Ando is about 40 cents, about 38 to 40 cents. So let's go into Ando. It was about unlocks, right? So it's at 90 cents right now. It's actually been one of the better performers over, the last week here, up 50% on the 7-day, rising from 60 cents all the way up to 91 cents. That's great. Go to token unlocks just to remind ourselves. I believe it is January, like he said. Currently, there is about 13% of the supply out. So what happens very, very soon in January, this supply increases big time. Let's see here, about 1.1 billion. So it's about a doubling, just under a doubling. Let's see here. No, this is even more than a doubling. This is a massive unlock. On these unlocks, it seems like they pump the price into the unlock and then just a slight downward action and a little bit of level of support is built up afterwards, but they pump the price up on these kind of insider plays. They like to sell their unlocks into juicy price action. But at the time frame that this is releasing, it's releasing into tangible backing of the US dollar by Bitcoin and then real world assets. Because just wait until what you see happens to real world asset classes when they start rolling out that Bitcoin backed dollar idea. It's not even just an idea, it's a bill. It's Bill S4912 by Cynthia Loomis. Once that starts making mainstream media headlines day in and day out, and they realize that the US dollar has a tangible chance and actually a path to be backed by Bitcoin, then you get Larry Fink and all those world leaders, those string pullers, conversating about how they're actually going to be moving assets on chain. This is where my whole idea and thesis behind Chainlink is. And with that, Ando, one of the biggest grabbers of this ecosystem, Ando, I feel like it's going to be a great performer. I know a lot of people are bearish on this token unlock outlook. Maybe I'll have to sell if they have a nasty pump up before that. If I'm approaching this and seeing a nasty pump right before the unlock, I'm probably taking 25, 30% off the table, maybe even 50%, and then leaving a moon bag just in case it keeps cooking up. Because tangible assets being tokenized in general by 2030 has already been discussed to be hitting $16 trillion in total assets on chain. This does not include Bitcoin. This is real world assets on chain on other tokenized products, not Bitcoin. So when they're talking about hitting levels of $16 trillion of value, not even being on Bitcoin, but on the ecosystem of cryptocurrency, I am hard pressed to sell that thing too soon. And if we do see that kind of initial pump, I'll take about 50% off the table. That is a large unlock that's coming out, though. You got $2 billion going to ecosystem growth, $200 million going to community access sales. Protocol development's going to get another $1.1 billion, and then private sales getting $430 million. So that's a big, big chunk of Ando. And, it'll probably mute out the explosiveness of the project by that time. But leading up to that time, I think that we're going to be just all right. So definitely liking my Ando bag, liking what I'm seeing over the last 7 days for it. Not too terribly concerned. And it is kind of that same thing. It's like being boring is also having conviction. And if I try to go in and out of projects all the time, what is this? I got a little water on myself. If I'm trying to go in and out of projects like crazy, I'm going to get burned. So I just have to find projects and narrative classes that I feel comfortable with, dollar cost average into them. If it works, great. If it doesn't, it's probably still going to work to a degree. It's like Algorand sucks ass, but it's still probably going to hit like 50 cents, maybe a buck this market. So, that's a loser, and we're saying a loser that has a strong potential to 3 or 4, maybe even up to 6 or 7x from where it's at right now. It's because I'm looking for just a few of them to do 30, 50x, something like that. It's how I did it last time with Polygon. These small bags of Polygon turned into a whole hell of a lot of money. Yeah, let's check out Aether. Let's check out Aether right now because I still have my Aether bag. This is something that I more so look for a strong pump come March of 2025. Sitting right now, I'm definitely up on the entry points here. I think they were about 449. So I'm definitely up on the entry. That's great. Let's see here. Dug itself out of a trench. It's trying to have a death sell-off right now. Double bottom right there. And honestly, not too much has been missed about this. I think that the shared computing narrative is going to be a big pump section. It's going to be intertwined with DPIN and AI. And we're going to have another March meeting with NVIDIA. Things in AI or decentralized GPU systems, again, will absolutely go nuts. And I'm feeling good. This is another one that's like a risk play. I got maybe 500, maybe $1,000 in this. I haven't looked at the portfolio in a while. I think the initial was 500, so it's probably more than that. But this is a small market cap play. It's a $299 million market cap. I'll scoot this up. And I don't want to keep hammering into it because I don't want to get overexposed and too spread out. Yeah. But Aether is something that I really think will be a decent mover for my portfolio. And if it goes nuts, it's kind of like I have to approach these things with high risk, high reward. Because we're going into a time of parabolic explosion. What I just showed you on Bitcoin, that's Bitcoin. If we do the same thing for altcoins, I mean, things go from zero. You know, Cardano was at like 3 cents before the 2021 rip. It skyrocketed up to $3. People had already given up on it. They had gotten tired waiting. They got tired with the boring times in life and they sold the Cardano and then it 100x'd right in front of them. And that is not something that I want to experience in this market. I want to have patience. I want to have focus so that I can actually reap those rewards. So good question on Ando. That's a specific bag that I've been building up and dealing with. So, and on Bitcoin, we do have to keep this in mind. CME gaps, Crypto Cody, I like this meme a lot. CME gaps, are they in the room with us right now? They sure are in the room with us. CME gaps get hit about 85, maybe 83% of the time at this point. And we do have a CME gap that was created because our weekend chaos of price pump begot, and the CME gap itself is at, these are on 15-minute candles. How insane is that? So the CME gap sits at about $77,000. Right there. Here, I'll scoot my face up or scoot this thing up or get my face up. Maybe I'll make this a little bigger. Look at this. It changes me. Mm-hmm. It all changes me. So the CME gap right here and right about, I think it was $82,000. It's from 77 to $82,000. This whole range of explosion is a CME gap. So we'll see if we see a resetting of the price to come back down to that. Keep in mind, it's about 83%. It's not 100% of the time, but likely to fill at a point here. And that is where I'm excited about the DCA money. And I really think that, you know, I'm going to be able to see some decent pullbacks. I know it's looked like up only over the past week, but I do think that that's coming. Now, the hopeful romantic in me saw this post from Ron Paul. This week, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell was asked if he would step down from President Trump if he asked him to resign. Powell answered no, the law does not permit the president to fire a Fed chairman. Powell didn't mention, however, that the Federal Reserve is unconstitutional to begin with. No power was ever granted to the federal government to create a monopoly bank that manipulates interest rates and counterfeits money. In fact, they created this thing on Christmas Eve, I believe it was, at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. With 3 congressmen or senators. They didn't have the regular process set up for setting the Federal Reserve. Interesting. In 1913. How insane is that to think about? Ron Paul calling it unconstitutional. So the big issue is not who has more authority over the other, the president or the Fed chairman. The issue is that the Federal Reserve should not exist at all. And this is Ron Paul potentially getting a moment to choose his violence on the most despicable thing within United States economic policy, which is the Federal Reserve, which is these unchecked banker leaders like Jerome Powell. That's like, you know what? If you have to listen to what the president wants out of the country, if you have to listen to the rest of the, because guess what? Congress cannot audit the Federal Reserve. Did you know that?
Can't audit the Federal Reserve, and the military always fails their audit.
Absolutely. And there is no like changes. You can either abolish it or let it just run amok. And that's what we've been left with for 100 years plus. And seeing that, I think that there's a big chance that we actually see at least a push to abolish the Federal Reserve in cohesion with this Bitcoin-backed dollar movement. And I'm very hopeful that we see it happen because, by God, I've been talking about it for a while. You need to end the Fed to have a more responsible fiscal policy in the world's largest economy, which is the United States. Now, GameStop being sexy again, that's great. Up to $26.80. Let's see where these degens live on a market watch here for GameStop, because I know a lot of people like buy this thing when it's all hypey and then they just forget about it and it falls back down. Let's see here. What is this? Get up, please. All right, GameStop. You know what I need to do, Isaac?
What do you need to do?
I need to get something that like de-blurs or like puts a shadow over these freaking keys because I can't even see them. Why isn't it?
I think it's GME.
Yeah, I guess I got to do just GME here. Yes, you're right, Jeremy. It's one thing you're right about. What is this? What is this?
You're so mad that you won an election. It's great.
I'm mad?
Yeah, you're like the one thing that you're right about. Okay, dude. You're the one who won the election.
This is Project 2025, Jeremy. Okay.
Is that you make fun of me?
Only. That's all I do. Now, this thing pumped up to like, what is this? Like 45, 50 bucks. Coming back up. That's not a bad look. That's a good thing. I know a lot of degens out there were trading this GameStop hype as it came and gone. Man, it's going to be interesting to see if that thing comes back. Where's Roaring Kitty? We haven't heard from Roaring Kitty in a while.
He disappeared again.
He disappeared again?
Again.
I thought that, wouldn't he come into meme coins or something like that?
I'm not sure. Can't confirm.
Man, that's a missed opportunity right there. And shout out to Joshua Jake. He got retweeted by Elon Musk.
I saw that.
This is crazy. It hit like 80 million views or something like that.
Retweet by Elon Musk is a big game.
Jeez.
Showing it to everybody on Twitter.
That's incredible. Shout out to that. That's great work right there. Josh, getting some notice there. Now, this is ridiculous. I'm not even going to have to play that. Now, here's Yuval Harari, one of the string pullers of the world. Look at his dual citizenship and his roots, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. If Trump becomes president again in 2024, it'll be the final death blow for the global world order. World Economic Forum, Yuval Noah Harari, advisor to Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum. And here is Donald Trump smiling in the background. He is on a warpath. This is Trump and his announcement about the Department of Education. Let's have a listen.
And one other thing I'll be doing very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states. We want them to run the education of our children because they'll do a much better job of it. You can't do worse. We spend more money per pupil by 3 times than any other nation, and yet we're absolutely at the bottom. We're one of the worst. So you can't do worse. We're going to end education coming out of Washington, D.C. We're going to close it up, all those buildings all over the place, and you have people that in many cases hate our children. We're going to send it all back to the states. Thank you very much.
And everyone's like, oh my God, he's going to end education. No, we overfund education as it is, and we're ending up with kids that are much stupider than other nations that spend way less on it. And also with government-funded education, then you get requirements on what kind of curriculum they're required to show in their school. So I'm all for it. And actually, part of this goal of mine in claiming my family's sovereignty, killing off the mortgage, capturing another mortgage and killing that one off, is going to be taking control of our food supply and my kids' education. I really want that, but I got to find the balance of like social engagement for the kids.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to be like, you know, completely disconnected from society and not know how to get along with people. That's what my worry is if I did that. I mean, what's your opinion on this, Jeremy?
My girlfriend's family has her sister has 3 kids, and they do like unschooling, where they're part of basically a co-op with a group of other parents that are like, kind of teaching their own kids.
Mhm.
And they meet up, I think it's like 3 or 4 times a week, and have like something similar to school, but it's not as structured, and it's like sort of on this like follow the child model. So I think that probably really is bringing back finding a community is what you're going to need, in order to socialize. And you got to find a bunch of like-minded people that want to be around your kids, and you guys start like a co-op where 3 or 4 times a week you all get together, probably trade off who's in charge or what adult is supervising, and get a loose curriculum there. I think that could be good for kids.
Yeah.
Abolishing the Department of Education, I wonder if that's going to get rid of No Child Left Behind, which as a policy was like probably not good for American kids.
Why do you think it's not good?
Well, it put emphasis on standardized testing and passing standardized tests and allocating funding that way. So it like had a bunch of snowball effects and like rich get richer effects and lowest common denominator following effects. That I was a substitute teacher for a while, and I like sort of got some of the second order implications of No Child Left Behind as a policy, and I was not a big fan. So,
Okay.
Then again, though, putting it back to the states, I would probably rather just like a more able and like well thought out federal curriculum.
Yeah. I mean, I'm super interested in this because C90FTW is saying that there's a ton of overhead and they're still needing even more money. But what is this wall of money doing that the education has been receiving? I mean, we're 3 times over our funding if you compare us to other countries. Where is the money going?
I can guarantee
you,
it's the administrative class, like schools spending money on like I mean, obviously security systems. Security is a really overblown like cost in schools.
Yeah.
Because you have to hire out a company that does the metal detectors and rents out police officers for you and stuff. So schools are probably spending 20-30% of their budget right now on administrative systems that keep the security complexes in place.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I would rather that all go to teacher funding, right? I would rather the school nurse be there every day. I have like comprehensive thoughts on the education system.
Yeah, I mean, this is a nuanced approach. We have to think about this because it seems like there's something wrong. There is something wrong if our intelligence level of our children is continuing to diminish. But the money, you just get more and more money into it. Like, that doesn't seem like a winning situation. It seems like the money's being squandered somewhere in this equation.
We have a bureaucracy bloat in America, right? You can see that with like police budgets in cities. Like the San Francisco police budget is in the billions, and a full like hundreds of millions of that go to like the database companies that maintain like sort of the citizens database or whatever. It's way too much for a database. But what happens is every year the chief of police goes on a vacation with a sales rep for the company that they use, and they go to the Bahamas and spend all this great time there, and suddenly there's a contract and we renewed it. We're paying $20 million again to this company that they do every year.
And here's something to think about. Homeschooling has exploded since 2020. Lots of parents choosing homeschooling, but those parents still pay tax for the government-funded education system. Those parents that are homeschooling their own kids are still having to pay tax for all the other kids to go get the public education, too.
Sure. Well, you have to pay a tax for society even though you don't use it, right? Like, my tax dollars go to the military, and I don't approve of their operations in the Ukraine or in the Middle East. But
let's change that, then. Shouldn't you have a voice and stop that from happening?
I don't think the average citizen should have a voice in military exploits, right? Like I don't have the expertise necessary to
see. I disagree because I'm a dad. When I see the military doing what they're doing, I have to think about my son having to go fight that war if they keep kicking this World War III into play.
Okay,
and so that's why I'm like super outspoken about it. Like, I don't think World War III should be going down at all. I think it's the stupidest fucking thing in the world for America to try to poke the bear of Russia and start a war with one of the largest nuclear superpowers on the planet.
We fight proxy wars in the United States that are complicated and difficult to understand. So from what I was made to believe is we can't let Russia just invade Ukraine because then China will just invade Taiwan and then we'll lose all of our computer chips.
It's a compounding problem. Right. It gets weird really quick. And, there's going to be a lot of stuff.
Which is why I shouldn't vote on it. Right? Because I'm not in a war room every day understanding all this stuff. Right? But you're admitting that it's so complicated that probably the average person doesn't.
No, I can boil it down to I don't want my tax dollars spent on World War III. I'm very simple about that. I don't have to make it, well, they took Taiwan or this. I think we should make production in America. We should stop exploiting other countries and turning their resources into destructive paths, like the environmental impacts that lithium mining have had, that cobalt mining have had, that all of these different things that we have other countries do really change the game for them. They make it so it's you have rainforests that go basically unusable. You have ground that's unusable from palm oil and all these things. So I feel like if we insulated and just kind of collapsed into the resources we have in America and stop being so reliant on this globalist interconnected system, I think the nations would prosper a lot better than that. And I think I have a voice in that.
Sweatshops back to America. That's what he wants.
I brought child labor back through Project 2025 this weekend. Absolutely.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
My daughters were cutting lumber, they were lifting the lumber that I cut. And then we started a bunch of fires with, I'm going to be trolling this until the day I die because I still don't know what Project 2025 really is, but I'm making it about everything. It's everything. What is this? 2.38% of school budgets is on security on average. So make sure we know what we are talking about. There you go. Manawak pulling up the data there. That's really not that much.
On average, though, like that could be manipulated everywhere, right? Like I'm sure that in LA it's higher than it is in like Chickasaw County or whatever.
Maybe. I mean, LA, they have to have higher pay grades because everything costs more.
Sure.
And there's probably higher crime rate in LA compared to, what is it, Chickasaw County, you said?
That's what I said.
Is that out here? What the hell is that?
Chickasaw County.
Is that a real place?
Yeah.
You're so.
Chickasaw County, real place. Google it.
I can't even see my keyboard. I need to get a cover for it. Now, here, I want your thoughts on AOC because she's talking about the border and how scary everything is getting. Okay. You ready for this?
Sure.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman, with
family.
all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're in the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay. Mr. Chair, the memo is submitted to the record for review. Inspector General Costello, one last thing.
I love how her eyes get so big when she's like getting the answer. Like, what do you mean? This means that you're actually going to charge them with a crime that they're committing? It's not a crime. Not a crime to seek asylum. The problem is that they're not seeking asylum. They just come across and then say, oh, yeah, I meant to do that when they're already in here.
Our asylum border laws are pretty lax, but the process that a lot of immigrants are going through is they claim asylum, they get a court date. The court date might be 2 or 3 years out. They get shipped to New York or wherever in the interim, and then they just simply don't show up to court 2 years later, and then they're already ingrained in the system and they're in our society.
Yeah.
So that's like the flaw, right? And it's a difficult situation to deal with because we should have a process by which people can seek asylum.
There is a process. There is a literal process where you can seek asylum.
Process, though. You're admitting that the process isn't safe because people are coming to seek asylum and they're getting into the country and just overstaying their.
How am I saying the process is unsafe? They just skip the process in general. They just walk in under a fucking barbed wire fence. Like they're skipping the process. That's illegal.
The majority of people coming in that are part of you guys' like famous like 10 million, maybe 20 million, y'all don't know clip is are people that are claiming asylum and then not showing up at their court dates. That's like the main like illegal. Like there's not a lot of like coyotes smuggling people across the border compared to the amount of asylum seekers.
You could say that just because it takes one coyote to move 100,000 people over their career. Sure.
Sure.
But I mean, there's still a lot of people being ushered to them. And, not just coyotes, there's literal apps being developed by organizations, NGOs that are funded by Jorge Oros that give them all of the routes, all of the places to go. You shake your head, no, but it is an actual thing that's happening. And so if they're skipping the process and they're acting like asylum application doesn't exist at all, isn't that an issue? Because for me, social infrastructure and things that can help people in America, like WIC, like programs like social, all the programs, for like poor people or people that need a leg up in the country, homeless people, those pieces of infrastructure need to have funding above and beyond these immigrants that are coming in and adding the pressure to the system. We need to take care of the people that are here that grew up here and that are naturalized citizens first, and then honestly, I don't think even in then give it to the people that decided to just come across the border illegally. If we had enough money to bust them from New York or to New York, as you said, which they are doing, they're busting them all over the place. If we had the money to do that originally, and the Federal Reserve can just print everything into oblivion anyways, then you're damn right we have the money to send them back. That's all there is to it. And it's an ugly thing to think about. But I want to have a Social Security program available for my mom to utilize, or for me to utilize. And if it continues to be bled dry because we're flying blind on how many people have come across the country illegally, that's a problem.
Sure, but I've yet to hear like a satisfying answer from a conservative about how they plan explicitly to deport somebody who came in with under an asylum visa. They overstayed their court date that was labeled for 2 years out, and then like, how do you find that person after they've been in the country for 2 years?
Well, I mean, you're basically going to have to be doing a lot of groundwork. You're going to have to expand ICE. You're going to have to expand the police force that enforces it.
I just feel like that's more expensive, especially since Republicans aren't trying to bolster. Simultaneously, they're like, we need to stop all of this funding and then also cut off these immigrants who are coming here for our amazing welfare state that you guys want to.
Well, the current situation, you're just gushing money into giving them resources when they come in. There's an absolute gush and a bleed out of our money to these individuals when they come into the country. So if that cuts off, then you use that funding that would have gone to them to the resources that need to get who's here out.
Sure, but you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater when you allocate all those. It's more expensive than it would have been to just keep them here, or just not deport them.
Yeah, I disagree with that because, I mean, here's the thing: is people that go through the immigration process legally are incredible citizens, and I think that if you make it so that they have to go through that process, and we can verify, yeah, you got a good background. And, we can trust that you're going to input into the society. That's going to be really great for our society. But then there's a number behind that. 70% of the naturalized, actually, it's not 70%, but I know that vast majority of the immigrants that have clean backgrounds that come in here with, so even without a degree, if they just have a clean, verifiable background, those end up being exemplary American citizens. But the ones that coming in illegally, we have no idea. We have no idea. And honestly, that makes me really uncomfortable because I have a gigantic family and we see crime exploding in the town that I just moved from. Here's a story, Jeremy. The town that I moved from, Longmont, Colorado, the house was on a golf course, right? It was a very nice neighborhood up in Longmont, Colorado. It just took 3 or 4 years of open borders to now you have roving gangs of Venezuelan gangs that are leaving potter plants with cameras inside of them to find out when the person is or is not home. And then they go kick the door in, rob the house blind of everything that's inside there. It's happening literally in the city that I moved from. And that was a large farm town, I guess you could call it. But this situation has become very tangible. And my contractor buddies, they're having to be on the outskirts of Aurora trying to be supplementary to the police because the situation's gotten so far out of control.
Wow, that's wild that Trump called to postpone the bill that was going to fund ICE and the bipartisan border bill that they wrote. That he shut down because he didn't want them to pass it while Biden was president. He wanted them to wait so that he could get all the glory for that.
I really doubt that that's exactly what happened. I really do doubt that.
People, that's not a disputed thing, by the way. Like, Republicans have just said that about what happened and why they're not voting.
There's a lot of Republicans that don't like Trump. There's a lot of Republicans that don't like him. And I know this is a touchy subject, man. But we got stuck on the subject. I knew I was going to get to these videos, and I was going to get you. But here we are.
I think AOC looked great in those videos.
She did look great. Okay. She looked super hot and bothered. Right? She's very hot and bothered.
She looked good. And you know what? Whether you like or dislike AOC, at least she always shows up to Congress. She's done her homework. She's got a big manila folder with a bunch of stuff in it. She has stuff to talk about. But a lot of the Congress people you see are falling asleep. They're falling asleep on the job. At least she shows up, having done any amount of work. I think if every congressman had the same work ethic as AOC, more stuff would get done, whether you think that's positive or negative.
Well, there's people that are going to be hot and bothered about it. And Trump has about 68 days till he's officially inaugurated. So he does have to survive. He's already had 2 or 3 attempts on his life.
Right.
No big deal.
What?
I feel like if that bullet would have hit Trump's head,
Sure.
instead of $85,000 Bitcoin right now, we'd be looking at 30, 40, and the mainstay economy of the United States would be headed towards an absolute dumpster fire. I feel that way. And maybe that's hyperbole, but I really feel like Warren Buffett took his money off the table. He got like $325 billion in cash off the table because he was expecting her to win and or Trump to be taken out. That didn't happen. It missed by centimeters. And now we're in the situation we're at right now.
I thought it didn't hit him at all.
It did. It went through his ear.
Really?
Yeah, it went
Doesn't
through his
your,
ear.
like pop or whatever when an AR-15 bullet
No,
hits it?
no.
I saw a video online that was like, here's what would have happened if an AR-15
those guys
bullet
are
really
dumbasses.
grazed somebody's ear and
No,
it
no.
exploded.
No, it would not have done that. Okay, It goes straight through. It's a very fast bullet.
So you believe the doctor that said that his ear regrew with like record-breaking alacrity?
Alacrity?
Yeah, it's like speed.
I very much so believe that Trump took a bullet to the ear.
Okay.
Yes. And I know there's all kinds of conspiracies out there. The
There's
real...
this-
What's that?
There's
What's
this
that?
thing called miracles from
God.
God,
Yeah.
Jesus, who exists.
That's
I'll put
also
that out
something
there.
I believe.
So if you could heal blind people, if you could heal people with diseases, then fixing an ear like that, no problem.
Well, there is tangible responses to Trump's presidency coming in, Jeremy. And I want your ear to the ground on these things as these are happening. Look at this. We saw these protests kick off in Chicago end of last week. This is Manhattan, New York. The protests are starting to gather steam, and the call that this is literally the end of democracy, this is the worst thing that could ever happen to us, is happening. And I want your opinion on this, Jeremy. Are they going to continue the hyperbole that Trump's a dictator and he's going to use the military to put us all in camps to keep fermenting the Democrat anger? Or are they going to just be like, okay, they're going to just sit back, accept Trump's the president. We'll try to reorganize and make a better platform to run off of next time and be better. Like, is this going to turn into a boiling pot? Is it going to boil over, or are they going to just try to realign and get a better candidate for 2028?
Yeah, Democrats are not Republicans, so they're not going to try to overthrow the government over this. They're going to realign. They're going to try to find a better candidate for 2028. Hopefully, one that carries ideals a little stronger than Kamala, right? Who was a disappointment to many people on the left because she said she wouldn't ban fracking and she didn't denounce Israel's action. So hopefully, we get an anti-war sort of populist candidate in 2028. I don't think this is going to boil over, but you should all actually be pretty happy about this because I think you and I can both agree that like a federal government is a big entity that needs to be scrutinized by a lot of people. So if there's a lot of people who are like worried about this being the end of democracy and like basically protesting and pledging to make sure that their rights don't get trampled over, I don't know why that would be a bad thing for you, right? I mean, you're a big don't tread on me guy. These people are going to make sure that the government doesn't overreach.
And I am a big don't tread on me guy, but what they're calling for, have you listened to some of the media clips of Rachel Maddow and the people on CNN?
I saw some of The View from last week, and I'm mostly on Twitter. I don't really watch legacy
Check
media
this
like
out,
that.
okay? Because Rachel Maddow, this dude has a lot of pull
Let's see
for
it.
the liberals here.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't going to work. I got to get a better clip. I was pulling this up off the fly. I'll just read this out to you.
Okay.
Rachel Maddow goes on a rant calling her tired viewers, who are mainly old white women, to be pirates, be scrappy, and mentioned that it can be dangerous but fun. After 3 assassination attempts on Trump, this is the crazy rhetoric that's coming out. And mind you, this is on, I think it's MSNBC. This is one of a few different clips where there's been calls to mobilize, become pirates, and they describe it as, okay, it's been fun trying to get elected. Now we're going to have to act like pirates, mobilize, and treat this as a life and death situation. That is the conversation coming from the left media right now. And I'm glad that you don't get stuck in there, but I like to watch the people on the other side of the bill and what their mindset is right now. And that is the message they're putting across to their viewers. So in that situation, like the Post message brought up, been 3 assassination attempts already. They're already used to attempts on Trump's life. If they do take Trump out before the election, that creates a constitutional crisis.
I think that would be awful.
But it gets worse. Then Kamala Harris takes presidency. And then bad stuff.
I don't even think they would do that. The Democrats love to lose. They'd probably
love to
they'd probably just put in JD Vance, to be honest.
Oh my dude, JD Vance would be even worse than Trump.
I agree that he would be upsetting. I mean,
Trump, he'd be better than
said,
Trump in my opinion, but he's smart and he has the same goals as Trump.
Trump said on the campaign trail that his strategy is choose a bad VP that would be apocalyptic, and then they won't get rid of you because they know that the VP you've lined up is worse. What he did for Pence and Vance.
Well, we saw some weird things happen with Biden too at the end of the election, right? Like, remember this: Joe Biden put on a Trump 2024 hat while visiting firefighters in Pennsylvania, and a huge kind of earnest grin on his face. I mean, he was feeling it. You know what I mean? And then he carries the hat with him. He's seen with the hat here as he didn't stumble this time. Now, I don't know if this is a Make America.
That is a different hat. That is not a MAGA hat.
But don't you think the red was a little bit of a signal to it?
It's bizarre that he can simultaneously, for Republicans, be like an 80-year-old man who's completely out of his mind, but also so clever as to send secret signals to the voter base. I think you have to pick one.
Well, someone said Biden voted for Trump. Aaron Curry. I saw this post, and this might be the inside baseball. Dark Brandon played, acting like a fool for 2 decades. He's been in politics for 5 decades, right? The last 2, been a dumpster fire. He's basically created a situation that was so bad, Trump now has the Senate, the House, and the presidency locked up in one of the most popular votes on the planet, where he won the popular vote and the Electoral College. This could be the situation vote. Trump took control of literally everything. Then he rides off, probably on his way. This is where he's on his way to his next beach getaway. Isaac, did you say he was at the beach and he fell or something like that, though?
I didn't watch the full video. I don't think he fell, but he was stumbling, like he was about to face plant, and he was being carried. It was pretty funny.
Oh, God. Dude, just let the old guy relax, man. He did great wonders.
If he's stumbling over the sand.
I got to give Joe Biden some credit here. He made things so obviously terrible that the side I voted for literally swept the entire House, the Senate. I mean, we have the ability to make the Bitcoin Act actually happen now because this Cynthia Loomis bill is dealing with a Republican Senate and a House of Representatives and a Donald Trump president that's already floated backing the U.S. dollar with Bitcoin. It has all been laid out, all thanks to Joe Biden. So shout out to you, buddy, and I hope you're enjoying your relaxation for the time you have left. Now we saw this. FTX sues Binance and ex-CEO CZ seeking $1.8 billion. This just broke overnight here. It looks like they're going after CZ. And I don't know if, it's Binance and the ex-CEO CZ. So we're going to be following this. FTX. This has been kind of a chaotic idea that we would see FTT token resurge. I really don't want to see it happen, but I've seen stupider things happen in crypto. Let's see what the price of this token is. It's up 10% on today. I told you guys retarded things happen in bull markets. Here we are again. FTT resurgence at $2.14. Here's the all-time graph. Well down from its all-time high, $71. Maybe some people taking hedged positions on this just in case we see FTX return. God forbid it. And I hope they lose this lawsuit from all the bullshit that they pulled. Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson talking about policy office will be fully staffed in 2 to 3 months. He met with the transition team, will be involved in U.S. crypto policy. We're now leveraging relationships we spent the last 3 years constructing. Been a lot of conversations out of Charles about non-disclosure arrangements that he's made. Some of the best things in his life he can't talk about because they're under NDAs. And with the hype and just the moment of the release of this info and the alt season returning, Cardano absolutely skyrocketed. So we're looking at, and it was funny, me and TJ talked about this coin not too terribly long ago. We're sitting here talking about this range. It was locked in. This thing absolutely ripped out of its previous range. Now it's running into this kind of historical price area around 60 cents. Cardano looking damn juicy. Now,
DZ's happy.
DZ's very happy. DZ's over the moon. And when I see something like this happen within an ecosystem I just knew wasn't going to go away from how decentralized it was and how crazy its holders were, I now need to go to Tap Tools.
Oh, hey, this means my bag's pumped.
Doesn't mean you got some Cardano.
All I have is Cardano and SNEC.
Okay. I like it. Let's see here. We'll go to Tap Tools. And DZ and me, the first thing I brought up to DZ was feeling min swap or hunt. DZ's feeling min swap over all the others right now, it sounded like. He brought up a great reason why. Great liquidity. I wish you would pull it up right away here. It's kind of ridiculous. Let's see here. Let's just go to min swap. Min swap. There you go.
I might sell this pump too. It might be time.
You're
go
going
to
to
my
sell the
SNEC.
pump?
Might be time to go to my SNEC.
Oh, you got SNEC.
I got SNEC staked.
Okay.
So that's going to be doing well. I'll probably take it out of being staked and sell it.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? No one ever went poor taking profits. No one ever went poor taking. SNEC is one of the biggest memes on Cardano, though. So, min swap running into historical price levels as well. This one's market cap right at around, I believe, so it's $78 million fully diluted market cap, but the market cap currently sitting around $34 million. And this is an ecosystem, kind of a DEX play that I think might be worth keeping a close eye on. And if I can get any kind of real good greedy entry points, it'd probably be coming in at around 2 cents for min swap. It's at 2.6 cents. But the action, the excitement really hasn't even begun yet. So I do feel like it's time to start paying a much closer attention to Tap Tools. I feel like the season for Cardano is coming right up. All that money on the surge for Cardano has happened, and now it sells off into other assets. Another one I picked up here is here. Pull my screen down here real quick, Isaac. I want to find. I don't know why Johnny didn't pull this up, but I want to pull this up because I did take the initials out of Drift and I put it into Moonwell. And what I left with on my show on Friday was the wrapped Bitcoin through Coinbase had made its way to Drift, to Jupiter, to Radium, to all of these other Solana projects. And with that massive moves to the altcoins, Moonwell is one of those that we know has CBBTCs, not CBDCs.
Hell no.
And it's now making up more than 31% of that wrapped Bitcoin on base. This is a very, very bullish metric here. And with that, I saw the price graph. This is exactly what I was looking at. The overall trend line, it's coiling up, and I feel like Moonwell is getting ready for its next leg up in the markets. So I built myself a nice little position of it. I'm feeling pretty damn excited to have some exposure. It was right around 7 cents. Currently, I'm up just a touch, a little more than 10% on it. But the monthly, we see a nice flatlining, a coiling, and these are the moments that I like DCAing on good projects. I hate buying these giant wicks. Had to be patient about it because this thing wicked up to 11 cents. We have now seemed to found its home where it's coiling up its strength for the next leg up, and I am loving it. So, what is this? Patton McCrotch up in the chat. Isaac has a military chin. Maybe he should join the army before they draft him. Let's check it out. What you got? Go full screen.
Full screen?
Yeah, that is a military chin, huh?
Something like that.
That's my pops. That's my pops up there. He was a tank gunner.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Dad. Hope you're doing well. Now, what is this? Earning CBDCs. I'm going to call it CBDC forever. CBBTC, currently providing liquidity on Aerodrome. Aerodrome has some great DeFi veteran cryptos up there doing. Aerodrome, I've been adding to it heavy when it was at 50 cents. I need to figure out what my next kind of moment is. It's at $1.48 right now.
Bitcoin at 85,300.
It did it hit just 85,000 flat? Let's go. Let's see it. What is this at?
Want to see the
Pull it up.
Bitcoin? Show me the Bitcoin.
Do it.
What is this? Hell.
Ooh.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
What is this? Let's see here. Why is this thing acting all weird? Let's see here. It hasn't hit it officially yet. Where did I see that? Let's zoom this. Oh yeah. Holy God. Holy God. 2-bit probably just wasn't loading fast enough. $85,200 just hit. And these are on weekly candles. Oh my God. And everyone's like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. These weekly candles are just so gargantuan and girthy. Here is the last time, okay? And again, this is the range we're stuck in, Fibonacci-wise. These candles, if history does repeat itself, are going to continue. The pain can be up only sometimes. When it actually starts kicking off, the massive upslopes to this price action happen through this Fibonacci range. We blasted right through it in the bull market from 2020 to 2021. And this is the Fibonacci ranging from the flat 1 up to the 168, where we might, historically be looking for a little bit of chop and reallocation is from the 168 up to the 2.618. So what a beautiful time to be alive. Shout out to you Bitcoin holders, all you maxis that would not give up on it. This looks like it's damn well looking to repeat this price action again and again. The top end of this fib, everyone's like, it can't happen again. It already happened. 2017 to 2020, right there. You get to see the proof in the pudding. Actually, it's 2021. And right now, we are just getting started, folks. We got nation state FOMO. We got Bitcoin ETFs. We got institutional adoption. We have the assets of the real world being tokenized right before our lives. And with the real world assets, there's something very, very important. It's on the thumbnail. I know I've been giving you guys a lot of info and a lot of stuff, but I got to highlight this. This is just too damn juicy to not cover on the show. Check this out, you guys. How long will it take Link? This is some very, very interesting stuff to look at. I'm going to talk about the revenue comparisons here. I got to back up a bit. This is from, at Larry Logical. And maybe I have to move this over just a touch. Okay, so we got Link token supply coming in. We got a billion tokens. But if CCIP, which is partnered with Swift for their daily transaction, if CCIP captured 1% of Swift volume, you'd have a daily transaction volume of $50 billion. Transaction fee coming in at 0.1%. And CCIP network daily revenue coming in at $50 million. The network annual revenue would come in at $18.2 billion. The valuation multiple by 20, and you end up with a Link market cap of $365 billion. Thus, bringing the price of Chainlink to $365. This is if Chainlink's CCIP program, which is indeed partnered up with Swift to do this exact thing, captures 1% of not just their goal, but what they're signed up to do. If they capture 1% of the Swift volume, this equals a $365 Chainlink token. If they hit 3%, that equals $1,950 or $1,095. And then if they hit 5% of the Swift volume right there, that brings you to $1,825. This is why I am so damn bullish on Chainlink. People don't understand the actual partnership that they have with Swift. They don't understand that Chainlink only has to accomplish a fingernail of what they've been signed up to do with Swift, and this token hits near $400 a token. I am so damn bullish right now. It feels amazing to be part of this with you guys. Shout out to everyone. Jeremy, you almost made it through without any ridicule. I'm just kidding.
We had a great time.
I love conversating with you, though. I feel like it's healthy for me.
They hate it. They're like, don't you know that he's a Democrat?
I know you're a Democrat. I voted for Obama the first time.
I don't even consider myself a Democrat.
Yeah. Isaac?
Yes, sir.
It's been amazing. We're going to be snooping around Solana's ecosystem more.
And stalking that wrap Bitcoin on everything.
Well, and remember, there's Orca
chain.
Before we go, because Isaac is going to be my Solana freak, and I think he's already kind of a Solana freak.
Something like that.
But, you're learning more about TVLs. We're learning about where this money is flowing. And Orca is one of those CBBTC wrapped Bitcoin access projects on Solana. This is another one that's kind of next on my Git list. What is going on with this?
Hey, GME. Yeah. Next on his Git list.
All right. So Orca's down by 7% today. It's up 50% on the week, but this is another one. It's kind of in that same situation as Moonwell, where I need to see where it falls to, see some flatlining before I can build out the portfolio to it. But in general, this has been around for some time. This was in place for the previous bull market, and it reached an all-time high right at around $8. Let's see the comparison to market cap. So on Orca, Isaac, we need to be careful about this.
Yeah.
Because we see a little bit of inflationary pressure here already coming into this. But Orca is another one that we got to watch. And also, Isaac, I can't believe I'm never going to forgive you for this.
Okay.
You didn't remind me to buy Swell Network.
I didn't?
No. I mean, you said it on the show. I remember watching Swell this weekend. Let's see if we got a pullback on Swell because I want to get some access to Swell. Let's see. We're down 17%. Nice. Nice. All right. This is a brand new product. It's available immediately on Coinbase. I think I have to move on Swell. I'm looking at this chart. This because I'm seeing the flat lining, the feeling good. This is a brand new project. It just came out. It's a $50 million project. And I like what I'm seeing on this. So, Swell, you know what I'm going to do? Hold on. Pull my screen down. I'm going to do this for reals.
You're going to buy it live?
No, I'm not. I can't. I don't have my setup on here yet, but I am going to send myself a message about this and write, buy it, you idiot. Okay? That's what I'm going to write to myself. But I love and appreciate every single one of you for joining me on the show today. We're positioned in an amazing way. And I really think that, you know, people that have been fading the upward potential on crypto, on Bitcoin, if you're fading what's coming, you're never going to forgive yourself. So just lock in, do the research, pay attention, and we are absolutely going to ride to the moon together. You just have to do it in an understood conservative manner. Understand what makes sense for your own personal goals, you guys, because we can absolutely accomplish them with the positioning of this crypto super cycle. It is here. Believe it or not, Trump's in office. Bitcoin-backed dollar is in play. Nation-state FOMO and real-world assets coming to you right now. So with that, I love and appreciate all you. Jeremy, let's go have a great day.
Yeah, I'm working out today. So
you're working out today?
Yeah, but at 5, so I'm going to miss
you. All right.
I've worked.
Well, we're going to go get it. I appreciate every single one of you out there in the chat. Make sure you become a member. It's $1.25 a week. And with that, I'll see you in the morning. Take care.